Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. Well, let's see here. Hey, we've got music. We got music. Or is it going? There we go. How come I know? Oh, you know what? I thought I had everything perfect. Didn't have banana meter. Well, we got jolts today. I think that it might be relatively quiet until we get the jolts number. But the treasuries have taken a dive here. I'm not sure. I did not see anything in my read that would explain why we're getting that. So, well, let's come and take a look at the charts and then we can kind of do our research. So here you see the treasuries. Didn't do much of anything yesterday. But then in the overnight session here, starting sometime around 5:30ish, my time, like when I woke up, they started selling. So some sort of news headline in there that I am not aware of yet. S&P 500. Well, you know, it was just kind of like a slow melt up day yesterday. It kind of looked to me like the options traders tried to fade it and lost. So it kind of melted up. Oil over here. Okay. Well, oil is maybe stabilizing around $70. Gold and silver. That's an interesting move there in gold. Down and back up. Not as extreme in silver. Copper. Copper on the rise again. Japanese yen. Ooh. Dude, the Japanese yen is getting scary. You know what? The Japanese yen was like scary all the way back here, right? It got scary. Okay, there needs to be some intervention. They intervened. Now, what is this? Is like we're way lower, and this is crazy. This is crazy numbers. I don't know what else to tell you. It's crazy. Drama in the dollar and dollar yen, something like that. Is that you think that's why the treasuries are selling off? You think it could be? Oh, and then we got Bitcoin. Ooh, it just is not. That is not. Okay, so obviously Bitcoin has been on the downturn, right? But I think that is the worst position that we have started a session out with in quite some time. And the story over in Bitcoin is that MSTR basically either has to dilute shareholders or sell their Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is in a nasty spot now. Live by the MSTR, die by the MSTR, right? Really what it is leverage. There was this, did we switch back over to the right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, there was a thread yesterday in the Bitcoin subreddit where they were, apparently people are calling MSTR a Ponzi scheme, and like if you do that, there's like a bot in that subreddit that automatically corrects you. Well, I actually think the bot is right. It's not a Ponzi scheme. You are buying shares in a company. The company does something. It buys Bitcoin. It's not a Ponzi. Maybe it's a Ponzi in that only the people that were in early are going to make money from it. But even then, I don't know if anybody makes money from it. I think that just everybody loses money from this sort of a thing. No, what they are doing over there is, in my opinion, much, much worse. Because what they are doing is essentially using leverage to manipulate the market. You go and you borrow money to go and buy the asset, and then the asset goes up, so the value of your holdings goes up, and then you use that to raise more money, and you just keep doing that in circular over and over again. And there's some math behind this, that when you do that, it eventually reaches a point at which a cascade collapse is inevitable. And Bitcoin is well past that point. Bitcoin is well past that point. I do not think that there is any way that MSTR can recover. It will eventually go kaput. Michael Saylor will probably go to jail. I think it's going to happen. Before, I was kind of like, well, yeah, but this was the thing that triggers it. And, you know, there's all these sycophants and the government and everything that are going to save them and yada, yada, yada. Now, I don't think anybody's coming to help them. I think they're just screwed. So, yeah, we got to keep an eye on Bitcoin today, huh? By the way, with lots of people here this morning, good morning, Kevin, Ray, Vital, TLA Trader, Amir, Trading 08. That's a name I don't recognize. Welcome. Actually, maybe I do recognize that name. It's been a while. And APOL, F Bitcoin. Yeah. You know what? I'll be happy to see go. But you know what? The thing is I think this is going to collapse. I think that MSTR is going to go kaput. And who knows, man, how crazy it could get. How far down could Bitcoin go? I don't know. But after that, it probably comes back. It is like the forever bubble machine. And the lower it goes, the more that it like creates an incentive for people to start it all over again. Like the issue right now, when you look at Bitcoin, is like, it's, what, 60, where are we at? 60K? 58K. Yeah. Okay. So if it makes a new all-time high, you maybe like double your money, right? It's like you're not going to become like a billionaire off of that, right? The opportunity that's passed. And so people aren't interested anymore, right? But if it went all the way back to like zero, it went all the way back to $1, let's say. Now all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I could 100x my money. Then people will want to get in it again. It's never going to go away unless like the government bans it or something. Which, I don't know, after a collapse like MSTR could happen. You know what I'm concerned about, though, is that when that happens, and then people are going to say, oh, it's because of these derivatives and because of this and that and the other thing, and they're going to want to regulate. Just factor in the effect of selling on the market into the leverage that you get. That's the fix. You do the fix. They can't do that anymore. They're never going to change it. They're never going to change it. Only Dogecoin is the real. I mean, that's exactly why Dogecoin took off, right? Is Bitcoin kind of went. People were like, it's too late to get on that, so I'm going to get on something else, and it turned out to be Dogecoin. It could have just as easily have been Garlic Coin. You know, Elon, you gotta go tweet me for Garlic Coin. That thing is just primed to explode. It's never gonna happen. Never gonna happen. All right, so yeah, that's right. I was in the middle of some changes in my GUI yesterday. So do that. I'm happy that we were able to fix the music. And let's come over here and see if we get Anthropic might be releasing Sonnet 5 today. Well, that would be great because I was kind of a little fed up with Sonnet yesterday. Was kind of like, did they nerf Sonnet? It was doing so many dumb things. Like it would just, you know, the solutions that it would. So I had it doing something with Jira yesterday, and it kept picking like the dumbest way to do it, and it'll do some query that's never going to work, and then it gets nothing back, and so it's like, oh yeah, no, that field just doesn't exist. No, I'm looking at it here in the GUI, buddy. I know that it exists, and I had to go back and forth with it like 4 times. I haven't dealt with that like with an LLM in a long time. It's like, did they give Sonnet a lobotomy? Or have I just been using Opus too much? But frankly, with some of this stuff, I'm also like, I need Fable back. I need Fable back. Is anyone doing non-L? Well, yes. So one of the guys that created Anthropic has been saying, or not created Anthropic, but, you know, it was one of the founding people. He has created another AI lab that we haven't really heard much about because they haven't released anything. But he thinks that general artificial intelligence cannot be achieved through a large language model alone, which I think he's probably right. I think that to overcome the limitations that we have with large language models, it will require a different system. At the same time, I really think with Fable that you have reached, I don't know what else to call it other than the point of diminishing returns. Which is to say that further improvements in the models probably don't really make a huge difference for anybody trying to do something with it. Some of this stuff gets really weird, guys. But Fable was amazing. Fable was amazing. It basically, I mean, I know what I'm doing. I can program, right? But it turns me into world-class developer. Like I'm making the best code in the world type of stuff. And it puts like anybody with the skill there. I mean, if you don't have the skill and you don't know what to ask it, then you're still host. But it definitely is a huge difference. And so that's where I'm like, whatever they release after Fable, I'm skeptical that those can make a significant difference to my productivity or the quality of my code. I think that Fable is like a key kind of like divergence point, right? And after that, you're going to have to continue to put increasingly more power into it with less and less actual effect, right? But that's kind of an amazing thing. That is like, wow. You can just do anything that you put your mind to now. I heard they already finished training for Mythos 6. You know what, though? I take that stuff super serious. So every time that I've gotten on Reddit and people are like, rumor is that they're going to drop Fable today, it's real. Like, those leaks have come through. Whereas there's other things that we get lots of leaks about, especially with the Iran war and stuff like that they're wrong about every time. I'm kind of curious to see how much better Sonnet will be, but so the reason I bring that up, though, the reason why I say, like, I kind of think that Fable is a key point where I think that beyond Fable, the productivity and code quality improvements that you get are probably minimal. It's just because with Fable, I can do amazing things, but it doesn't make me a 100x developer. You know, people keep talking about like this 100x sort of a thing. I don't think so. I think that you can become maybe twice as effective, and then that just kind of brings up all of these other things that you have to do. Just creates more work. So I'm still just not on board this like AI is going to replace everybody. There's not going to be any jobs left thing. There will be displacement, but everything that I'm seeing is it's going to create more jobs than it destroys. It's going to create a lot more jobs than it destroys. And there's going to be a lot of people out there that are going to be talking to an LLM all day. And for those people that have the technical skills that were programmers before AI are just going to become more valuable because people will not be able to, learn. Like the newer developers, it'll be really, really hard to learn and pick up those technical skills. And the technicals, you'll be able to prompt the LLM better if you understand the technicals of it. So, and that's where I think the competitive kind of space is going to go. People with the AI are more powerful than the AI. So, yeah. Now, the split side of it is this: what the difference it makes to like your personal productivity. I don't know if the gains that we get after Fable are really going to make that much of a difference. Maybe that's just a limitation of my imagination. I just can't imagine it getting much better than that. Okay, but where it will make a difference is you're going to continue to increase the accuracy of the system, and so the metrics that you're going to start to see people cite and that matter going forward are going to be things like how long can the LLM work on its own before it needs human intervention? Or how does the LLM interact with other LLMs when you've got like a whole swarm of them? Those are kind of the places where the hallucinations and stuff, even though we've gotten them pretty low already, are just too big of a problem, right? And you can't leave an LLM going for 10 years. That's just not going to work, right? So there are going to be certain applications in agentic AI that may start to open up as the LLMs get better and more efficient. Hopefully, I hope that the next kind of step is not necessarily an increase in abilities as much as it is more efficient, less token usage, less energy usage, etc., etc., etc. But then that's where I think that you're going to have different kinds of models combined together with the LLM. Things that are like able to do hard logic and that sort of a thing. What will LLMs learn from it? I don't think that people are going to stop making content, though. I'm not going to stop making content. I'll still be here. Something that I think will become a thing in the future is training your own LLM, right? Like you will start with a little close to the microphone. You will start with a frontier model. Like you'll start with a Mythos base, right? And then you'll start training your own model on top of it. They've kind of had things like this, and they keep like messing around. I don't know if you can really do it right now with Claude. It's a lot easier to do if it's a local model. So sometimes people are taking the open source models and the local models and doing that on top of it. You train the LLM. And maybe it gets to the point, because have you seen this one where like it's able to do live talking with you and like deal with you interrupting it and talking over each other and things like that, right? So I could foresee a point at which you've got a large language model and it's just watching everything that you do on the computer, and it, or let's say it's watching everything that I do as we're trading and everything that I say, and it's learning from me, you know, to make like an AI assistant. I think that that's also something we'll likely see in the near future. Man, I got talking so much I kind of forgot what I was doing here, man. I'm adjusting my chair a little bit. Need to go one step forward. ETF rebalancing is now an unignorable source of instability. Leveraged ETFs are becoming an ever more malignant force on the markets, increasing instability, says Zero Hedge. AI rout exposes Wall Street's 270 billion speculation machine. Is that like the thing we always talk about? Every order has an impact, and you know, the impact is way more than people think, right? Well, you take that and then you put on top of it leverage, right? The market is not really what people think it is. You go and you look at like whatever the number is, you're like, oh yeah, things are pretty good. But once you realize that, yeah, but something happened, it triggered all of that leverage that is being used to pump it up. It's maybe not even 20% of that, you know, like, well, I don't think I see anything on Zero Hedge about why we had that kind of move earlier. I think that you're probably right that it looked like there was like the Japanese yen was falling precipitously at the same time, and then some intervention came in. Oh man, and I'm like not even realizing, looking at the DOM, that we've been pinned here for 30 minutes. Wow. It's tight. Well, it's going to be tight until that jobs report, right? Lately, the market has been really, really focused on that jolts. Let's see here. What are they expecting? Oh, and we got Chicago PMI today, too. Okay, so remember, Chicago PMI gets released to subscribers of the Chicago PMI 3 minutes earlier. So we should expect to see a move at 9:42 Eastern time. And sometimes I will get like way too focused on whatever I'm talking about or doing at the time, and we'll miss it. But we gotta kind of stay aware for that. Okay, but on the jolts, what are we looking at? They are looking for a reading of 7.29 million versus a previous reading of 7.618. That sounds right to me. I think that there was less jobs in the past month opened. But would we be above or below that? I don't know. I think that probably, like, if we were higher than 7.618, that would be pretty big. Like, the treasury market would just totally crash out. They would sell that so hard. They would sell that so hard.
Block sell.
Yeah, see, here's this thing. Can I talk about this for a second? Well, I haven't read the whole post, but let's read this post, okay? This guy says trading is the ultimate FU to the matrix if you manage to crack it. I am already 2.5 years into this journey. These have been by far the worst years of my life. I don't even need to explain why, because I know you already understand. But what keeps me going is that trading is literally the only profession where you can say a big F you to everything and truly be yourself without relying on anybody. Think about it. 95% of people walk around wearing masks. They have to cooperate, stay politically correct, and they're never allowed to show their authentic selves. I'm not just talking socially. I'm talking about everything. At work, they're afraid of losing their jobs. Even online people are scared to post certain comments because they don't want to offend their boss or hurt future job opportunities. And let's not even talk about the confidence that comes from financial stability. Literally no other profession makes me feel this way. Oh, it's so ironic that he says the confidence that comes from some financial stability, as though day trading is going to bring that to him. This is what I'm saying. The people that are attracted to day trading, it's always this kind of like deep wound there. That's like the world did not treat them the way that they wanted it to. They have not been held in as high esteem as they want to be. And you want to come in and do it on day trading because that's the one way that you can come in and see, look, I'm better than all of this. And this guy finds it like very motivating. But what I find is that this is often the thing that prevents people, like if there's anything on the psychology side that prevents retail traders from really being successful, it's this. Because part of being successful, part of being able to figure it out is understanding that the market is just a bunch of bullshit. That the prices that we get are just the function of liquidity, and it doesn't really mean what we think it means. And having success in day trading doesn't mean what we think it means. And it's not until you give up on that kind of, placating your ego, that I'm going to redeem myself through day trading, that you can really see the truth of it. Is there a lot of comments on this one? Bird Hunters, welcome back. Should I tell him? I'm going to tell him. Treasuries are pushing a little bit lower. Vital trading just 1 hour a day this week in New York Open. Well, do you mean like the equities open? Because I mean, if you just traded the equities open, I guess you probably could get away. That could probably work. But I kind of wonder, like, it seems to me, there's this whole statistic that like, if you pick a random market order and it's a buy, and then you come back an hour later, there's a 0.5% greater chance that a random market order selected an hour later will also be a buy. So the persistence, the long-term persistence of order flow caused by large meta orders kind of makes me think that to really, really get good trades, that you need to be in it for longer than an hour. Of course, there should be other sources of edge, right? Oil jumps up. Yeah. Well, I mean, it is overall up today by about $1. Actually, let's say $1.50. And it is pushing new highs at the moment. I kind of wonder here on our oil DOM, maybe we should change it from the 10 cents, huh? No, that's not what I wanted. This right here. Let's change it to 5. Here's what I said. This sort of desire to show the system is one of the biggest drivers that draw people to trading. Ironically, it is also the biggest psychological factor that is going to hold them back. The reality is that trading is not consistent income, does not bring financial stability, does not bring you freedom, does not show that you have overcome the system, and worst of all, success in day trading does not necessarily speak well of you. Holding on to that delusion is a thing that prevents us from seeing the market as it really is. We can lay the truth of it out in front of people plainly, and the majority reject it because they don't like what it suggests about the market and themselves. Dare of Doom says, why aren't we covering EDBL? Well, because we don't really focus on stocks. You know what? I should be mad. Like, why are you coming in here shilling your crappy penny stock and blah, 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 blah. But we haven't had one of these come by the stream in a really, really long time. So it kind of makes me happy. It kind of makes me happy that we're still relevant enough that bots will come in and try and hawk penny stocks, not realizing that, you know, that's not really what we do, that we're mostly focused on the treasuries here. Right? You think it's a bot, though? I don't know. I think it might be a real person. I think maybe he'll say something else and then confirm to us that he's a real person. That would be fun. From r/Claude Code, Anthropic embedded spyware in Claude Code and attempted to hide it from you. Since version 2.1.91 released on April 2nd, Claude Code checks whether you have a proxy enabled. If so, it covertly transmits through invisible alterations to the system prompt whether you are in China, whether you are proxying to a Chinese URL, and whether you are affiliated with a Chinese AI lab. Oh, okay. I'm down with that, actually. You know, I am genuinely bothered by this thing. You did see this thing the other day where they said that Alibaba did like this thing where they created like millions of fake accounts and to send prompts to to Claude or whatever to do a distillation model or whatever. Because the whole thing is the U.S. administration in particular wants AI to be the United States advantage. That they think that is the thing that can give the United States an economic and strategic advantage over the rest of the world for the next 100 years. And so they don't want Chinese nationalists using it, and they don't want all of these sorts of, and I agree with them. I don't want Chinese hackers using Claude Code or using Mythos. I think it should only be U.S. citizens using it. And some of the things that it's going on there, and some of the stuff that's going on in the open source models, kind of threaten that. So they're putting stuff there, but they're so concerned about it that they're basically putting spyware specifically to catch these Chinese labs. That's something. That's something. Any way they do. The whole thing just gets me thinking about communism and stuff. I saw this other story yesterday. There's some guy that he's like a Chinese billionaire, and he's been basically funding astroturfing kind of stuff on social media, basically promoting communism. You know what I'm talking about? And I wonder, when I go on Reddit or when I go on TikTok and I see stuff about communism, like how much of that is Chinese bots, this one guy's astroturfing campaigns, versus genuinely organic content. Because as much as I would like to believe that, there's not actually really real communists in the United States, the reality is they're out there. They're voting for people. And they have become quite successful in their efforts to get people elected, in fact. But at the end of the day, it is communism. They will say, oh, no, we're not, Seth, we're not communists. We're social democrats. Get it right. The communists, guys. It's a front. You push the more genteel forms of socialism so that later on you can get communism. That's what they do. It's their whole thing, man. Europe needs to hear this. You know what? The further along I get, I know that we haven't talked hard politics as much on the stream lately because there just hasn't been a reason to. I mean, there's politics going on around the world all the time, and there's some major politics that we haven't necessarily covered. It wasn't directly relevant to what we were trading that day. Right, but we still need to understand it, and it's still worth talking about this stuff every once in a while. So if you're a leftist, you just indulge me for a second. I am so done with Europe, man. So the first thing that drives me crazy about Europe is this superiority complex that they seem to have. And you guys that are, because I know a lot of you are all from Europe, right? So you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Especially the leaders of these countries have this attitude like, oh, Europe is so civilized than those ruffian Americans. No. Like, Europe has become a backwards continent, in my view. Like, this whole air conditioning thing is bonkers to me. Like I knew that most Europeans didn't have air conditioning, but like people are dying and they're making these laws, passing laws as it's happening that you can't have air conditioning. Oh, except for that the leaders in the European Parliament, they get to have AC. They turn it off for all of the staffers in the lower floors, but the higher floors of that skyscraper, they've got the AC on. Oh, that's so crazy. That's so crazy. You're so civilized that you don't have air conditioning and you're banning it. What the heck? So the further on this gets, the more I almost want to say radical I become on some of these things. Because I really am just kind of like, you know what? Could Europe recover from it? Could. If I was in Europe, I'd be fighting that super hard. The right does seem to be ascendant. Maybe they'll fix it. But I'm kind of like at the well, I don't care. Let them. Let Europe be given to the hordes. I'll worry about what's happening over here, you know? Europe needs to hear this. But what were we saying? It was communism. Guys, if you want to be successful in life, stay locked in, avoid communism. Nothing will ruin your ability to generate wealth, to be successful in things, than communist ideology and hanging around communists. I wouldn't you know, you're at school, you got your group of people that you hang out with, and they're communists. I would start hanging out with other people. You are like the average of the people that you hang out with, and yada, yada, yada. If you hang out with communists, even if you never adopt their ideology, you'll still be a loser. It will affect you, man. Like, it impacts your ability to see opportunities, to execute on opportunities. Nothing will destroy your ability to be successful in life more than communism. It is truly the ideology of losers. What's this, Paul? Wow, a culture that has kings, oligarchs, terrible, rich, dressed morons ruining the country. You're shocked that these morons have rich people first problems? Literally, the issues you were just complaining about were practically some of the real stuff that lead towards Americans leaving originally, and some things never change. Yeah, this is true. It's true. Yeah, one of the things that I keep thinking about lately, and I know I said this yesterday, but you know, not everybody's here every day, so I'll repeat it again. One of the things that bothers me the most about the shift that we've seen in American society is a shift towards avoiding all risk. Like, nobody wants to take any risk at all. Gen Z in particular, it seems like they are just extremely adverse to taking risks. And that's a big problem. Because number one, taking risks is where success comes from. And we think that taking risk is like, oh, well, you don't want to do these these things that are risky, and then you lose, and it's bad for you, and then, you know, it will destroy you or whatever. But what happens is we always overestimate the risks. Like, the downside is never as bad as we think it is. The upside is way greater than we think it is. And really, the biggest risk is not taking risks. The biggest risk is not taking risks. So this shift where it's like, and it's not just you shouldn't take risk, like you shouldn't day trade. Yeah, I mean, probably you shouldn't. Most people are going to lose money day trading. There's just no way around it, guys. Most people will lose money day trading. I'm not going to sit down and tell people you shouldn't day trade. One, because I do it. But two, like, the people that want to take risks should be allowed to do it. The lower the percentage of success, the more reward, the greater the reward is, right? And the thing is that when you get these people that want to take risks and you don't let them do it, you say, well, we don't think that you can be trusted with, to take care of yourself and to make smart decisions. So we're just going to get rid of it. We're going to get rid of the speculation and you can't have financial markets, you can't have gambling markets, all of these things. And communists are all over this shit. Because ultimately, the communists, what it comes down to is they have a deep-seated desire to not have to take any risks. They don't want to have to go out and start a venture and risk that venture not working out and having to face that they're a loser. They would rather just sit at home and be a loser, but still think in their head, well, I'm only a loser in the eyes of society. But, I could be successful. It's just the way society is organized is wrong. And someday we will take over society and it will be the way that I want. And then I can be happy without having to take any risks. That's That's really what drives that mentality, man. It's all about risk. It's all about risk. And but they take it further than that. They say, you're not allowed to take risk either. I don't want to take risks. You're not allowed to take risks either, because that would give you an advantage. So they don't want to let you do that, right? But what happens when you prevent people that want to take risk from being able to take risks is they just get filtered into even more risky things. If you don't let them trade futures, they're going to go and trade sports betting markets. They're going to trade crypto stuff. It's better. The futures market, there's lots of great things about the futures market. It's a really high liquidity market. All of the orders go to the exchange. We can all see the orders. That's really like the best situation for markets. And I would rather them be here than sports betting or crypto. You know? So let's teach people how to do it properly instead of, you know, trying to filter them off into something else, telling them no. There's lots of people that are not, you know, frankly, not equipped to be successful. And I kind of like don't want to waste time on people that I know aren't going to be successful. But we got to do our best to try and convince them, get them on the right track. Because somebody has to do it. And no, they're going to go to Polymarket. Yeah. I stuck an overheated train in the middle of the field last week, and helicopters were saving. Wow. Vital. That's crazy. That's crazy. One of the things that I thought, because I was at this START conference last week, you know, because when you talk about trading, not different people have different reactions to it. I think that most Americans, they don't really understand what you're even talking about when you get into futures trading. Like, I don't think they realize that to some extent we're talking about some of the riskiest type of day trading that you can do, right? It's a little degenerate. The liberals, they don't like that because it's just like, you're taking risks, and I don't like markets, and some of them. But the communist types, that's what they think, at least. But like when you're at a start fest, like, holy crap. Oh, those guys are taking way bigger risks than what you do with day trading, right? Like, you can come in and you can day trade. It can kind of be like a hobby. For some of these people that are doing startups, it is, yeah, you raised money. You've got a startup now. You have money to keep your business going now. But especially with founders, you're often taking a huge pay cut at the very beginning for something that usually doesn't work out. And when it doesn't work out, you're left with nothing. And it was not just like a hobby. It was like your whole life. Like, you put everything into it. It's a way more degenerate risk than day trading. Way more. But we tend to elevate and admire entrepreneurs and deride day traders. Go figure. So I need to have like an anti-communist rant like every day, I feel like, because it is becoming a thing. I kind of wonder, like, on the politics side of it, because since the Iran war, the Republicans' chances in the midterms don't seem very good, right? But, well, hopefully the Iran war thing stays dead, for starters. And then the new kind of focus on the politics is the success that the Social Democrats are having. And when you get on Reddit, they're all like, oh yeah, like the left is finally doing what we want them to do, and this is so great, and we're going to be successful. Nah. It's a very, very small contingent of Americans that actually want that. And so I think that you're going to continue to see the popularity of the Democrat Party decline. And I think that this whole dynamic bodes really well for Republicans in the midterm. So maybe in the end, it turns out Republicans do really, really well in the midterms because people come to vote against communism and have forgotten about the Iran war thing by that point. And this isn't just like some crazy far out theory like that. It kind of looks like the direction it's going. Oh, here's one. From r/day trading, a high win rate is usually a warning sign, not a flex. Yes, 1,000 times. This is like the other big kind of like pet peeve that I argue with the day trading community about. People don't seem to understand, but they are absolutely correct. Let's see what he says. I saw another 90% win rate screenshot today and wanted to share something that took me way too long to learn. Win rate tells you how often you're right. It tells you nothing about how much you lose when you are wrong. Those are two completely different questions, and the second one is the one that blows up accounts. A 90% win rate is basically the fingerprint of mean reversion. You collect a pile of small wins and then hand it all back in one move that quietly eats a month. If you are not careful, the number isn't lying, it's just answering a question nobody should be asking. A concrete example from my own testing, I had a system winning 63% of trades that still bled muddy because the average loser was 2.5 times the average winner. Looked great on the win rate line, but it lost money on the equity curve. My trading journey so far was mostly pain, but at least I stopped losing money. What I actually check now before trusting a strategy: average win versus average loss, the single worst trade, and the worst drawdown. Trade count. A 90% win rate on 10 trades is just noise. If someone shows you a win rate without the loss distribution, they're showing you half the picture that looks good. Yeah, never trade with a stop loss is the secret to a 90% win rate. Yeah. As I'm always, like skeptical of any of the results that people show me, because I'm kind of like, well, yeah, but if they were actually using like prudent risk controls and everything, what would they actually be getting? It'd probably be losing money. It only looks like it makes money in the short term because they haven't encountered the fat tail yet. Usually what it comes down to. Okay, so it's 7:38, so we got about 4 minutes or so until the Chicago PMI. One of my favorite market sayings is, show me the person that's winning the most right now, and I'll show you the next person to blow up. I think that the issue that I have with the high win rate, like we all understand this, and then it's like, well, that doesn't mean that you can't have a good strategy with a high win rate, right? It doesn't. But what the win rate does is it hides the truth from you. You think it looks good because you're focusing on the win rate, and you can't see the tail. Okay. What did it make? So I had the drawing yesterday, and I got it saving and everything all good. It seems like it's in a good spot. So then we started making the interface. So how does it do it? Okay, so I can draw lines using this code. Makes each call idempotent. Redrawing the same key replaces the line. Okay, so it has a key. That's good. Recomputing the forming bar tick. Never compiles up duplicates. Distinct keys accumulate. This vertical lines. Yeah, okay. Plumbing. I caught a bug. Worked examples. Levels. Draws. The rolling high-low over look-back window is 2 keyed dashed levels plus a dotted vertical marker at the bar that made the high. Okay, well, that doesn't make any sense to me. But let's see what it does. Anyways, so let's come in here to indicators. And the new indicator shows up on here, levels. It is an overlay, it says. And, okay. Very, very good. Very, very good. And do they just go on forever, I'm guessing? Yes, yes, they do. So you can't see historically what it was, for instance. But that's okay. And then it has a line at where the peak was. That's cool too. All right. And am I allowed to modify these ones though? That's curious. So if I come in and I do a horizontal line, right, and I can select it, but the programmatically drawn ones are not selectable. So how is that? Let's ask ChatGPT. Okay, so anyways, now I can take these lines, I can move them around and stuff, right? I can be like, I want it to be from here. I can extend it to the left, turn it off. Oh, that's funny because I moved them. Yeah. Do that, and turn both of them on and then back off and turn both of them on. And move it and then turn them back off and they still go to the right spot. Cool. I can change the size of the text. Probably would like to be able to make it bold, but I can change whether it's at start, center, or end. I can change the color of the text. I can change the color of the line. Make the line thicker. Like when you're not over the window, it shows you what it has. Like when you go over the window, then it kind of goes away so that as you change things, you can see the change. Cool. Style, dotted line, dashed line. Oh, by the way, we didn't really get a news. You see, what I always do this. I get too focused and I miss what the Chicago PMI when it was released early to subscribers. But here comes the real number, 56.7 versus 55.1. So it was higher than expected. I would expect to be a little bit more selling in the treasuries because of that, but it doesn't seem like they care. I guess they're waiting for the jolts. And then I can also delete drawing. Cool. That shows me that the drawings persist even after a restart. Lovely. Well, let's remove the indicator now. What happens? They go away. Perfect. Okay. So let's zoom in. Let's change our chart to be blue and orange. That's better. Okay. Yeah, I should remember that. Picking up pennies in front of a steamroller setup. I've heard that before, but I've kind of forgot about that phrase, and that's really what we should say. We see people, a lot of these people that are doing, it seems like they're doing really well, need to see their longer run performance, because oftentimes that seemingly good performance is actually just picking up pennies in front of a steamroller. Oh wow, I already have 2 people responding to this sort of thing. He didn't like it. Speak for yourself. Okay, that was OP. Mm-hmm. Getting a little bit of movement there. I think some people are taking some positioning ahead of the jolts. Oh, that's interesting. For some reason, my cumulative delta in ZN is broken. So I'll just try reloading here and see if that fixes it. No. Wait. It's calculating. Maybe I don't have tick replay on? No, I do. Inventory cost basis is working. What's wrong with cumulative delta? Oh, and that's my cumulative delta, so it's a problem with my script. Accessing a bar out of range. Interesting. Let's see what this guy says. To add, trading is the same stuff as a business. It gives you freedom, but you will still work most of the day and definitely won't be doing jack squat if you want to compete with any type of market or business, because everything in the world is dynamic. The moment you stop, you are falling behind. Also, a lot of people underestimate the weight of responsibility very much that comes from trading and having a business. But if they overcome all the hurdles of their journey, it's worth it in the end, but you will still belong in the system. It's non-escapable, and money flow has to keep coming in throughout your whole life. Let's see here. We got 4 minutes left. I am definitely gonna have to debug this after the news, because it's error calling on bar update method on bar 0. What? Cumulative delta? What? Oh, okay. Okay. That's a little cray-cray. It's never done that before. We're definitely going to debug this. I'm going to get it already. Start the studio of visuals. Still a little bothered that never got a story about why treasuries took such a dive earlier. It really must just be about the Japanese yen. That would be a good explanation, because when it's Japan, we don't get the information as fast, right? Oh, that's funny. The new squawk is going to lead with the consumer confidence number. Okay. I mean, CB consumer confidence matters too, but I think it's about jolts. Let's do this. Okay, they definitely thinning out. Consumer confidence was lower than expected. 7.59, so better than expected. That's a sell. Yeah, it got like a good burst of volume, and then they kind of got stuck. To the 30 is our kind of our line. I don't know how I feel about that. I think that there's not a good opportunity in that one for us then. Just definitely curious. Too bad our indicator, our cumulative delta is broken. Well, even though I'm not that interested in the NinjaTrader side of it anymore, let's debug it. Attach to process.
Block cell.
All right, where are you dying at? Looks to me like that that data file is borked. Let's see here. What's the date today? The 30th? Aha. Doesn't have one. Goes to 29. And then it stopped. Coming back over to here. Input file. It is loading the 29th. Okay, so it's loading, trying to load yesterday's data. It never started making this one. I want to come into the 29. Seems fine. The data file at least seems fine. Very interesting. Because it didn't find comma in that line. That's so weird. Path is read only.
Connection lost.
How about that? There, written. Okay. Let's try it again. Oh. There we go. Okay, so it's just been sell all morning in the 10-year treasury, but buying in the 30-year. So some flow kind of indicative of a flattener, even though we're not really getting significant flattening in the yield curve. I wonder how that got screwed up. Buying an ES2. Yeah, and it may just be selling because ES really seems to be risk on today, right? Yeah. That's an interesting one. So here's a guy, they've tried a couple of different platforms. Some of these I'm not sure what they are. Sierra charts, bookmap, quant tower. What is this? Motive wave. Motive wave. They haven't tried ATAS or Jigsaw or NinjaTrader. But let's say, for instance, Sierra charts versus bookmap. Why do they like Sierra charts more than bookmap? I think those are going to be controversial. Right? Oh, there's already comments. Let's see. New motive wave is S, in my opinion. If you're new to order flow, order quant tower is similar. I would put it in A, but it wasn't really that good in my opinion. Deep chart? Yeah. Oh, that's deep chart. I see. Oh, deep chart is that newer platform that influencer from Italy created, huh? And they put it in the D or F category, huh? Okay, so like, here's one of the things that irritates me about the conversations that I see on this subject in the community is that a lot of the time their rankings are really rankings about the indicators that come with the platform and not the platform itself. You know what I mean? Like, if you like the market depth chart thing that comes with Sierra charts, I mean, it's flexible. You can do weird things with it, right? And then, oh, okay, that's the thing that makes that platform great. When you can probably create that in any of the other platforms that have custom indicators. We can make that in NinjaTrader. We can make that, you know. What is the thing about the actual platform that it's built on that you like or don't like? Because indicators, you can change those easily, right? I'm more concerned about the base platform level decisions. Things like how I can manage my workspace, the way that all of the GUI elements work, the way that the API and the custom indicators work. And then can I come in and create the best candlestick or best what do we even freaking call them? That, well, with the volume profile chart, or why do I keep saying candlestick in my head? The ones with all the numbers. Oh, that's so weird that I can't even remember the names of them. But anyways, you make those. I can make those and change them in any way I want. And then if people don't like the ones that come default, you can make your own. Okay, so this person, Quant Tower, what's wrong? It scored low on support and pricing, mainly for it would be an A if the lifetime was a bit cheaper. Well, what is a Quant Tower? Sierra Charts doesn't have a lifetime license, does it? Yeah. Strictly uses a subscription-based model. So what is the... Oh. Now Quant Tower is expensive. $70 monthly? What? What are you giving? I mean, I've used their platform before, unless it's gotten like way better. Lifetime $16.90 eek. Okay. I did not know that. Why is it so expensive? Why is it so expensive? NinjaTrader's still like $1,000, right? Well, maybe there's some economies, you know, like you might run into a situation where NinjaTrader, they're able to keep their price because they've been in it for so long, and anybody that comes in new ends up having to kind of put a higher price on it. Fun Tower is not a good platform. Yeah, I thought it was just kind of mid. I heard somebody had the comment that I thought, if Jigsaw isn't included, this is not a serious list. It's the way I feel. Except for that, you know what? If I was doing a ranking, I don't think I would put Jigsaw in A tier. Because the charts on Jigsaw just are kind of meh. You know? And you can't do custom indicators. Custom indicators really, really kills it. So it's like, you have to have Jigsaw, but I don't think that I could necessarily call it S tier, right? So maybe we put it in A tier. The trading view is the best. You know what drives me nuts about trading view is that it is, without question, the best charting platform, I think. I started using trading view way back in the day, back when I worked for the bank, because it was like the best way for me to get the free market data, and a lot of other platforms were trying to pull the data in a way that like the firm would block, and that was the only one they went through. So I was kind of surprised to find TradingView be the one that like won that whole kind of like battle. And over the years, I do think that they've created a pretty intuitive chart interface that's really good, right? But at the same time, those are features that I'm kind of like, okay, whatever. Like they're not game changers to me. That's not like the key differentiator between a good platform and a bad platform. You know, like what is your execution like and things like that. And you can't get order flow on TradingView. So like, to me, TradingView just ends up being the thing that you use if you're a beginner and can't afford a real platform, you know? Even though it probably is objectively the best charting. Especially with the way that their indicators work, that like, they've got everybody that makes an indicator, it gets saved and you can share it and stuff. I mean, that's crazy, the stuff that's available for you on that platform. I'm kind of surprised that NinjaTrader hasn't built an in-app store yet, but I bet you it's coming. Yeah, it's good indicator community. It's just you can't do order flow with it. So most of the indicators, there are actually some pretty severe limitations with TradingView. Like, if you want to do the machine learning stuff like a random forest or whatever, you kind of have to write it yourself. Like you don't really have access to libraries, things like that. Ugh. It just gets me going on again about Delta Trend Trading released his QuantPad platform, which is an online quant testing platform, and it's like $600 a month or something. That really disappointed me because I want him to do well. I don't think it's going to do well. But hopefully they learn from the experience and pivot or something. I don't know. No, you literally cannot do order flow on TradingView. They just kind of have a hack that is kind of bullshit, to be honest with you. This is kind of a pet peeve of mine, but not one that I talk about too often because it just doesn't come up. But in TradingView, they have volume, but they do not have any market depth information, nor do they have any aggressor information. So you have to sign the orders. You have to say, is this order a market buy or a market sell? So how do they determine it? They determine it based on whether the bar for that tick, if you take a one tick series, was that bar up or down, is basically how they determine it. So it is not accurate at all. It's not even close. In fact, I've seen some people do stuff showing that it's only like it's off by like 40%. Like you'll get 80% with inferred, but there's still kind of these issues where your market depth and your order feed aren't in sync with each other, so you'll get like 10 to 20% off. But when you're doing it with TradingView, it's like 40% off. So yeah, there are a lot of the things that I do and that I would want to do. Like, for instance, this inventory cost basis indicator. That's probably the one that I would be most interested in putting on TradingView and like selling, because I think there's some real value in it. And I think that it really kind of shows some things that retail traders wonder about too. So I think this is an indicator that could do really, really well in TradingView's system. But because of the way that it does things, you can't really get an accurate answer from this. And this indicator is just trash in TradingView. So until they have real, like, event-based order-by-order kind of processing, you just can't really do it. By the way, making that in Sierra charts was a pain in the butt
Block
too.
sell.
Because they don't really give you access to the raw data. In Sierra charts, they have like these existing structures that you can access that they made for their indicators, but you can't access like the data and the events raw. So that made it a lot harder to do. Okay, so I asked ChatGPT or Claude. I always want to say ChatGPT. Okay, so how come you can't check 4D in drawings? Click blah, 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 blah. Okay, so that's what I was concerned about. It's putting them in a completely separate structure. Oh, and the indicator update would just swap the whole thing anyways. That's noted. Mm-hmm. Well, I think I'm okay with that. So I'm kind of wondering, I had this one, well, I have one branch for the indicators. Let's put cumulative delta on this chart. Okay, cool. Works and everything. There's some things that we would want to fix, like make it so that you can change the width of, or the height of the subchart, and be able to make it so that this could be a bars as well, that sort of a thing. But you don't have to do those right now. But I had that branch. I didn't like go through the whole thing and merge. I just said, okay, let's go and do the drawing thing too and come off of that. So now that I've done the drawing one, and I'm kind of like, oh, these both seem fine. Here's a line. Delete drawing. I kind of like the inspector thing. How do you guys feel about that? Do you like that when you do a drawing, you can just click the drawing and a little inspector window shows up with all of the properties of the drawing? Or do you not like that? Would you prefer that you have to right click it and, you know, right click, edit settings, and then have that come up, fiddle around with it, and then click OK? I feel like this is much faster. You just go, oh, okay, click it. I want to move it over to here. Oh, that's interesting. I actually won't want to, because it was too close. No. The vertical moving is broken, I think. Yeah. I could change it, though. I could change it to 31. No. Okay, but the horizontal one still works, right? Trump's effort to reverse birthright citizenship may succeed with or without the SCOTUS. What? How? U.S. Iran have delegations in Qatar, but no direct talks. Hormuz energy transit rebounds, oil down near pre-war levels. Oil did kind of back off the highs. Oh, did we get the Supreme Court decisions? Announcement of opinions. Where did that go? That's weird. Okay, there we go. The Supreme Court on Tuesday ruled that states can block biological transgender males from competing in girls' sports. In a 6-3 ruling, the court gave an ironclad answer to the question, writing for the majority in West Virginia versus BPJ, Justice Barrett Kavanaugh held that neither Title IX nor the Equal Protection Clause requires schools to carve out an exception for transgender athletes who have undergone hormone therapy or never experienced male puberty. States can draw the line at biological sex, full stop. No judge administrator athlete by athlete fairness hearings required. The ruling reverses both the Fourth Circuit, which sided with West Virginia's BPJ, and the Ninth Circuit, which sided with Idaho's Lindsay Peacocks, and lands squarely in the wake of last year's Scammetti decision extending its "this is a sex classification, not a transgender classification" framework from medical care straight into the locker room. Background. Roughly half the states, approximately 27, have enacted laws in recent years restricting participation in girls' and women's school sports to those whose biological sex, as determined at birth, matches the team category. These measures, often titled Fairness in Women's Sports Acts or similar, reflects concerns over competitive fairness, safety, and the preservation of opportunities for biological females amid rising participation by transgender athletes. The two cases before the court are from Idaho and West Virginia. I don't think I'm going to read all this because this is not. This is just like the earlier story, so whatever. I want more about what they actually said in the ruling. Well, I can't really find anything on it. Let's go to Reddit. I bet you that r/laws has plenty of. Yeah, you got your. Yeah, I did. It was just an ISP issue, so it was all fine this morning. Uh-oh. Wait a second. The Zero Hedge told me that it was a 6-3 decision. R/Law is telling me that it was a 9-0. The other decision they announced, political parties can spend unlimited sums in coordination with their own candidates as the court strikes the federal caps as a First Amendment violation. Hasn't Zero Hedge really seemed to go to poop lately, or is it just me? Yeah, I would say that I'm not getting as many good stories from them lately. But, you know, I don't know if that's necessarily something changed at Zero Hedge as much as it is maybe just a slightly different market environment. I think one of the issue with Zero Hedge is that Zero Hedge is ultimately a financial blog for anti-establishment. And so they kind of wedded themselves to Donald Trump. Because I tell you what, when Zero Hedge started, it was not a right-wing blog. It was not. Okay? It only became that once Donald Trump became the, you know, anti-globalism thing. It was always anti-globalism, I would say. But they weren't Republican until Donald Trump came along, right? So, you know, they allied themselves with Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump is in charge. They're kind of the establishment. So, when that happens, even though they might still be putting out stories that are definitely not what, like, the elites would want and everything, it's just harder to push traffic as much. Because it's going to be the right-wingers are going to be the ones that are going to read it. And they're not that bothered right now, so they're kind of tuning out. So it probably is the case that Zero Hedge is making less money this year than last year, for instance. But I just don't see as many of those pro articles that have really good order flow information in them and that give me a clue as to where things are going. There's kind of been this thing going on with ETFs and options flows and stuff like that going on under the surface, but I don't know if anybody really knows where that's going. It hasn't given us a solid flow to follow that we can trade over here. Oh, I see. So they voted 9-0 on the Title IX claim and 6-3 on the equal protection claim. So even the liberals said, no, this is not a violation of Title IX. In fact, it's the opposite. Title IX should prevent men participating in women's sports. All right, fine. Terrible decision, and it sucks badly for the athletes it will affect. But does this mean the right will finally shut up about this? Is this a propaganda tool dead now? It was not a propaganda tool. The right was reacting to stuff that was happening. So, if this prevents men participating in women's sports, then yeah, they will stop talking about it because it won't be happening anymore. Except for that they only said that this law in this state, and that doesn't necessarily tell you anything about the liberal states that still allow it. So you're still going to see this happen in liberal states and stories about it probably. it might be really interesting to see if there are situations where, like, you're a female athlete and you're a really good female athlete, and a male participating in your sport really, really hurts you, so you move to a state that doesn't allow that. Do you think that that could become a thing? Because I think that could become a thing. It's really weird to me. One of the things that this is not the only issue that this has happened with, where the left will pick a fight on something. They really want to push a progressive view on something, and yada yada yada, and it ends up working to the advantage of the right. And then it's like, oh, the right brought this up, and this is just their propaganda tool. It doesn't matter. No, you started this. You started this, the right reacted, they won. Now you're saying it doesn't matter and it's propaganda. Then why did you start it in the first place? Hate that stuff. Hate it. They always do that, right? The left can just never admit to being wrong about something. That's really the reality of it. Right? Literally what I was just thinking about, read top one. It's literally already happening. That will just speed it up dramatically. Another huge thing that pushed people from blue states. Yeah. I mean, I really do not feel like that blue states protect women appropriately. It's just and people are leaving blue states. Like I was saying, this communism thing in New York and everything. Because the Republicans are talking about it a lot. And that says to me that they already have data that suggests this is a huge loser for Democrats and gives Republicans an edge. And if that is like the storyline going into the midterms, could completely flip what we think is going to happen in the midterms on its head. So I has always got to say, like, oh, okay, yeah, it seems like the Iran war, it's hurting Donald Trump. But we still got several months until the election. A lot can happen in that time, right? In both directions, it can happen. It's a person who has talked to women in Illinois. It doesn't, and that doesn't have to come from me. Illinois doesn't plan or help or protect in any way at all. I just some unfortunate things happening in the world. It's just seems to me like some people are so comfortable that they forget why we had to develop some of these systems and protections and so forth in the first place, right? But it would due to, you know, the physicality of it all, women need specific protections. That's just the way it is. I tell you what, for a law subreddit, there sure is a lot of discussion about the actual law or the opinion. No, there's absolutely no talk about it. This could mean also, do you think that there will be a federal push at some point? Well, not anytime soon, but I bet you it happens eventually. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What? Okay, so for those of you joining us late, earlier today, somebody said, trading is the ultimate FU to the matrix if you manage to crack it. And I said, no, it's not. And thinking that it is will prevent you from seeing the truth of the markets that you need to understand in order to really stand a chance at navigating this. The reality is that the markets are very imperfect. It's just liquidity moving around, and you mastering it does not necessarily make you some genius that beat the system or anything like that, because the market itself is stupid. So I said that, and some people don't like that. Some people don't like that. So I said, oh, but by the way, here's the part. I said, the reality is that trading is not consistent income, does not bring financial stability, does not bring you freedom, does not show that you have overcome the system, and worst of all, success in day trading does not necessarily speak well of you. And this person says, trading has become a consistent income nowadays thanks to prop firms. This is so sad. It gave beginners a hell of a glitch in the system to achieve financial stability if they can master their trading system and psychology. Because of that, they can actually say, screw the system. If you're talking about trading itself being inconsistent and just a delusion, that's a whole other story. That's so sad that you think that the prop firms do that. That is so sad. I'm literally going to say that I'm feeling feisty today. My trading has never been more consistent than with prop firms. Once you start selling 1,000 prop firm accounts a month, suddenly I have lots of money to lose trading. It's really wild that the retail traders think that the prop firm helps you. No, it does not. The prop firm makes trading profitably harder. The prop firm maybe lowers the barrier of entry. This does not help you. It's really funny. Let me read my post again. This sort of desire to show the system is one of the biggest drivers that draw people to trading. Ironically, it's also the biggest psychological factor that is going to hold them back. The reality is that trading is not consistent income, does not bring financial stability, does not bring you freedom, does not show that you have overcome the system, and worst of all, success in day trading does not necessarily speak well of you. Holding on to that delusion is the thing that prevents us from seeing the market as it really is. We can lay the truth of it out in front of people plainly, and the majority reject it because they don't like what it suggests about the market and themselves. And how do people reply to that? With denial. They just the mere suggestion that that's true, without even telling them, the truth of the nature of the market. Just telling them that alone triggers them. Isn't that wild? It's, I think, pretty direct proof of that what I'm saying is true. Most people don't want to accept the reality of the market because it says things about the market and themselves that completely destroys their own identity and reason for trading in the first place. Also, how's the lower minimums going for people these days? I mean, you know what? Ever since that happened, I haven't really seen much discussion about it at all. Isn't that curious? Need to do some. I think this chair I think this is the wrong chair. I think I need to get a different chair. The question is, do I keep this chair or not? I'm not sure. I think I want this chair. I want this chair. Anthros chair. Anthros Black. Starting at $1,949. Whew. Like, it was always like $1,000 for a chair. That was kind of steep. But I mean, I guess there's inflation. So like a good chair is maybe $2,000. Seems like that. Now I wonder with the thing, having this, it's not going to go against your shoulder blade. Your shoulder blades are going to be able to stick out on the side. Is that a good thing or bad thing? I don't know. I need to find, there's a place where I can try it. I need to go and just try it. Saturday or something like that. I think that they're open on Saturday. I think they're open on Saturdays. Let's find, where was the place? Well, there's a number. Let's see. I gotta find a store hours. Are they open on a Saturday? Oh. It's like a national chain sort of a thing, huh? Or experience. Expert pillow fitting. Oh, they have like beds and stuff, huh? Okay, but what are... Oh, Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6. So we can't go on a Saturday. I'm going to go try this chair. If my wife ever has a free Saturday again, I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Let's see here. So, Paul asked anything about lower minimums. I said no. He said me either. Maybe they want that one forgotten. The they is probably prop firms. Maybe. I think the thing is still that there are some other problems with trading stocks that the pattern day trade rule don't necessarily fix. So I don't think that it changes who actually day trades stocks. Might make things a little bit more convenient for the people that were already doing it. For $2,000, I could buy a car, take all the seats out, and see which one is the most comfortable for that price. And believe me, in my back, I'd love a nice chair. Well, so the way that it started was there was this other chair that looked pretty good, and I heard some people praising, and it was like pretty cheap. They're spending insane amounts of money on... So I'm not even going to say who it was because they're spending so much money on advertising. I don't want to pull you into the algorithm because as soon as you search for this other chair, it's like every ad that you get is that chair. It's insane. And they gave one to like every influencer out there. It's wild. Okay. But then some influencers like, actually, this chair really sucks. Which you'll see with chairs, but they had good arguments, and there was more of them than usual. This chair is just okay. There's interesting things about it. It's really comfortable, but doesn't support my upper back. Whereas this thing that we were just looking at is better at that. Oh, did I close it? The chair. Why is there... They show... What sets Anthros apart? Lowest pressure cushion. The results of independent university testing show that the Anthros seat cushion outperforms all other office and gaming chair seat cushions tested in 3 measures of comfort. Precise posture system. Fine-tune the way you like to sit with the Anthros Precision Posture System and get locked in for performance during long work and so you get these little things. Can you play that animation again? I guess not. Basically, because it's these little arms that come up like this and you can twist it so you can get it to the exact degree that you want rather than having to be stuck on these different, which is the thing that always drives me nuts about most chairs. Decompress mode. Lean back, relax, and stay fully engaged. Anthros's decompress mode allows for natural movement while maintaining your posture in a relaxing position. And you get a free posture consultation. Loved by all these people. Pain relief guaranteed. I want it. The more I read about it, the more I want it. Why is there a separate one for home and home office, right? Anyways, I want it. But you know what? It's going to be a while before I can get a chair like this. So I was looking through my list. I've got a lot of stuff I got to get, man. First thing is I got to get a new battery for my UPS. Oh, I totally forgot about ChatGPT. I told it there were some problems here. Did it find what was wrong? Okay. So explanation for why it didn't work are almost exactly what I thought they would be. Wants me to restart the application. Let's see here. So there's this other one. Supreme Court 6-3 political parties can spend unlimited sums in coordination with their own candidates as the court strikes the federal caps as a First Amendment violation. And this person says, so now the rich and powerful or foreign interests can just buy elections. Yeah, like they already could. And they already could before the Citizens United decision and whatnot. Like, you don't fix that problem by saying in specific instances you can't do it. You can't spend money. It just doesn't work. Name recognition means more than almost anything else. So you don't even have to say anything. You just have to spend tons of money on getting their name out, and you can buy elections, guys. That's all it takes. It's just exposure. Well, looks like we took a little bit deeper of a dive here. Oh, actually, you know what? When I chose to debug in NinjaTrader, I never reconnected. Let's do that. And then in PowerShell, test our little change. I guess we're okay over here. So now let's draw a vertical line and select it and move it around. Yay! Okay. And if I say I want it to be at 45, yeah, there we go. It had more stuff that it wanted to do, but I think that that fits my everything that I wanted. All right, guys. Well, that's it. I don't know. I feel like maybe it was a little bit productive today. I don't know. The drawing thing, I don't know if I thought it through very well. Like it does work and it's great and everything, but I'm just not sure that it was what I should have been spending my time on. There's another thing that I'm kind of like we need to get into, and that, and then the licensing, and I should be in a good spot. Kind of wonder, what do I need to have for like a first release? Not sure. Okay. Well, anyways, I will see you guys tomorrow. In the meantime, stay excellent, team.